All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to begin calling the docket. When I say your name, please say present or here and raise your hand. Ryan Augustine. Ryan Adam Augustine. 0 for 1. Giovanni Chavez Rosales. Noemi Esquivel. Noemi Leja Esquivel. Apparently, no matter how I say it, there's still nothing. Jose Guadalupe Herrera. Make sure I hear you. If I can't, might not be able to see you. James Paul Johnson. Here. Thanks, sir. Is it Tayamika Johnson? Okay, thank you. Julie Ann Mullins. David Phillips. David Lee Phillips. Taya Powell. Tylia, Tylia Powell. Quick day. James Rife. James Clifton Rife. Stephanie Rios. Courtney Schmucker. Courtney Ray Schmucker. Robert Schultz. Robert Michael Schultz. Amber Martin. Andrea Pullings. Andrea Cherie Pullings. Teresa Villanueva. Brittany Boyd. Brittany Liddell Boyd. Joe White. Kimberly Fowler. Shelby Newton. Brenda Bryant. Hunter Tapper. Yandes Perez Hidalgo. New Lay. NHULA. That'd be you. Ulay, Ulaw. Amanda French. Here. Mario Martinez. Mr. Manning. Nothing. Caleb Richardson. Joshua Gamble. Thank you, Mr. Leader. Robert Crane. It's been verified in Wood County. Jason Jones. Here. Carlos Cabrera Alonso, set for 10 a.m. You here? Okay. I'll call your case at 10 a.m., sir. Martin Perez. Martin Rosendo Perez. Roy Hamilton. Here. Jeremy Reeves. Here. Landon Watson. Landon J. Watson. Chuck Sherwood. Logan Bundrick, set for 10:30. Is there anyone's name I have not called that's present in the courtroom? Your name, sir? James what? Rife? All right, FE, yeah, I believe I called your name.
I'm here.
Anyone else whose name I've not called is present in the courtroom? Your name? Yeah, I'm just looking for it. Page 1. Anyone else? Your name's not been called, or at least you haven't heard it. Mr. Adams, are you ready? Are you ready on? Ms. Villanueva, CR 21-271, set for arraignment. Come on up, Ms. Villanueva, to that middle podium there. All right, Ms. Villanueva is set for arraignment, Mr. Adams.
Yes, Your Honor. This Mitch Adams on behalf of Ms. Villanueva. For the purposes of today's arraignment, Your Honor, Ms. Villanueva is I a new copy of the indictment in this case. Ms. Villanueva advisedly remains properly set forth and spelled in that indictment. And she is the same Teresa Villanueva who's named in the indictment. Who's present here in the courtroom today. She understands the allegations made against her in that indictment. At this time, we were here not guilty, and that's what it says for pretrial.
All right, would you be available on November 30th? We can do November 9th or November 30th. November 9th would be less than 30 days.
I already have some settings on November 30th, so that would be more than fine.
All right, court sets this case for pretrial on November 30th. Ms. Villanueva, once you sign the notice of setting and get the yellow copy, you're free to go. Is Andrea Poolings here? Amber Martin, CR 2179. All right, Miss Amber Martin set for motion to revoke.
Yes, sir. On behalf of Ms. Martin, Mitch Adams on behalf of Ms. Martin. Your Honor, I only recently obtained a copy of the state's motion in this matter. This is a motion to adjudicate. Whether it's a motion to vote, obtained a copy of that from the state yesterday. The state and I have not had any substantive negotiations or discussions about resolving this case, whether this case can be resolved without a contested hearing. And to that end, the state, I think, joined asking for setting Ms. Martin's case for contested.
All right, court will set Ms. Martin for the contested docket on December 2nd.
That I believe there's also a contested docket on December 16th. That is not the case, Your Honor. I would get a training on the second, so I would respectfully request the 16th.
All right, court will set Ms. Martin then for December 16th at 9 a.m. And Ms. Martin, after you sign this notice, I want you to report to the probation department, okay? Okay.
Already one notification. This morning. And report, so,
Plea? Were we anticipating doing the plea today?
Yes, Your Honor, she's not here. I tried to call her, try to attempt to contact her, but she was unable to reach her.
Was the plea going to be to time or probation?
Probation.
Probation. If she appears today, how would you want me to proceed without you? Yeah, how would you want me to proceed? Do you want me to have her stay here, you come back this afternoon, or
I do have some settings this afternoon on Docket, so
is she,
in order to remain here, so
and you anticipate being back?
I will do that.
Okay, all right. Then if she appears late, then court will reset her to 1:30.
Thank you very much for your help.
You're very welcome. All right, at this time, I'm going to relinquish the bench to the Honorable Judge Thomas for cause number CR 15421, State versus Joshua Samuel Gamble.
All right, good morning. This matter was set for a final hearing. It was reset in order for the defendant thought that they could make some kind of payments on this matter. Mr. Molater, I'm going to mispronounce your name. I'm sorry.
That's correct, Your Honor. We did make agreement on that day that we reset the case, payment of $24,000 and some dollars was made to probation correctly. I saw that court reset this case to a December contested hearing. Is that correct, Your Honor?
Yes, for the Judge Martin was just not going to have time today to have a contested matter. So the next available date that I could be here was December 2nd. Has there been any, will the state be ready to go forward? What is the state's announcement for December 2nd?
Your Honor, the state will be ready on December 2nd if this council and the state are not able to otherwise resolve it by that.
All right. So Counselor, will you and your client be ready as well?
Yes, Your Honor, and I've alerted all the witnesses that we had on our side as well to appear on December 2nd. I'll continue to reach out to Ms. Curry to see if we can resolve it in an agreement prior to that, but it looks like it's going to be a contested hearing as of right now.
All right. All right. Thank you all very much. We will see you December the 2nd at 9 o'clock to try and resolve this matter at that time. Thank you all very much. That's all in this matter.
Mr. Files, are you ready?
Yes, Your Honor. Plea, Mr. Tapper's case.
Aaron.
Moving motion to have court record.
Yes, please. All right, this is cause number CR 2371, State versus Hunter Tapper. Mr. Tapper, if you'll raise your right hand, sir, I'm going to place you under oath. Mr. Tapper, do you swear that the testimony you give to the court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you may put your hand down. All right, Mr. Tapper, are you a United States citizen? Do you read, write, and speak English? Have you ever been diagnosed with any type of mental condition? In this case, you're represented by your attorney, Mr. Buck Files, and Mr. Brett Harrison. Are you pleased with your attorney's representation of you? You feel like you've had enough time to discuss the case with him, with both of them, and have all your questions answered? Is there anything about this paperwork that you've read over and signed today that you do not understand? And Mr. Files, do you believe Mr. Tapper to be competent today? And have you explained to him his legal, his constitutional rights, and both the advantages and disadvantages of a deferred adjudication plea?
I just believe he understands that if he should violate the condition before we impose maximum punishment. If, violation.
All right, Mr. Tapper, you are charged by indictment with state jail felony offense of possession of a controlled substance in penalty group 2, less than 1 gram, that carries a range of punishment of not less than 6 months or more than 2 years confinement in a state jail division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, and a fine not to exceed $10,000. I see here that the agreement, hey, gentlemen, I'm gonna need y'all to step out in the hallway, please. I see the plea agreement in this case is that you would be pleading guilty to that charge in exchange for the state's recommendation that this court defer a finding of guilt. That means that the court does not convict you today, but rather would place you on community supervision for a period of 4 years with a fine, court costs, reimbursement fees, and restitution. Is that your understanding of the plea agreement, Mr. Tapper?
It leaves the court, we made a big change on the first page. It should have been 3 years for additional violence and another state.
Well, it says 4 in one place and 3 in another. So I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and we'll redo this because it says 4 here in the plea agreement and then it says 3 down there. So I'll tell you what, we'll just go ahead and clean up the judgment on that. And we'll move forward then. All right. So Mr. Tapper, do you understand that the plea agreement is actually in exchange for your plea of guilt to that charge, that you would be, the recommendation would be that you be placed on community supervision for a period of 3 years rather than 4. You understand that? If the court approves that and places you on deferred community supervision, do you understand that if you violate any of the terms and conditions of your community supervision, the state of Texas could file a motion to bring you back before this court? And if the state proves that you violated, the court could on that date adjudicate your guilt. That means convict you, and the court could revoke your community supervision and sentence you anywhere within that lawful range of punishment from 6 months all the way up to 2 years. Understanding those things, do you still want to go forward in this plea? Okay. All right. So at this time, Mr. Tapper, I'm going to ask you, how do you plead to possession of a controlled substance in penalty group 2? And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty of committing that offense? Has anyone threatened, forced, or pressured you to plead guilty today? All right, court will accept the defendant's plea of guilt at this time. Mr. Files, any objection to State's Exhibit 1, stipulation of evidence?
Objection to exhibit marked off.
All right. State's Exhibit 1 is admitted, and the court takes judicial notice of the defendant's judicial confession. Anything further from the state? From the defense, Mr. Files?
Your Honor.
All right, I'm just going to take a moment to review the evidence. Heisel, can I have that? I'm just going to read from it while you make the. Yeah, I'm just going to read from it. All right, Mr. Tapper, based on this court's review of the evidence, I do find that there is enough evidence to convict you of this offense today. However, the court will follow the plea agreement in this case. The court hereby defers a finding of guilt on the charge of possession of a controlled substance in penalty group 2 less than 1 gram. Court will place you on community supervision for a period of 3 years. Court assesses a $1,500 fine, $290 court cost, $55 reimbursement fees, $180 restitution. All right, Mr. Tapper, I'm going to remand you to the custody of of the Van Zant County Community Supervision Corrections Department so they can carry out the terms and conditions of the sentence. I'm gonna have you come forward to be fingerprinted with my bailiff. After that time, you're to report over here to my right, your left. The probation officers will give you more information. Yes, you may. Mr. Wood, are you ready? Mr. Sherwood, if you'll make your way to your middle podium there. This is CR 21-244, State versus Chuck Wayne Sherwood.
Just prosecutor and I would like to talk about Sherwood's case. At this point, I think we're relatively close to a resolution. However, we can set this for a docket call. There are some other issues that we want to take up with the board. So after this hearing, I'll see the lights up to the approach.
So no contested pretrial motions.
No.
All right, there being no contested pretrial motions, court will set this for docket call. Are you available on November 30th?
November 30th.
Okay. Mr. Sherwood, once you sign this notice and get the yellow copy, you're free to go.
Thank you.
Yes. Council, we have any other council that's ready? No one's jumping at the opportunity. Good morning, Mr. Knoll.
Morning, Judge. Could you hear me?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
I think you're activated on Zoom, but I can't hear you. I don't know if your mic's, it shows that your mic's turned on, turn on. It shows that your mic's working and your camera's working, but I can't hear you.
I have no idea why.
I got you. I've got you now. I've got you. Do I need to come take your driver's license away? I mean, I know a couple.
Maybe, I'm not sure. Reaching for glasses in the floorboard, which was a serious mistake.
Well, could have been a lot worse. Glad you're okay.
Thank you.
All right, are you ready? Let's see. You have a couple today. You've got Jason Jones for arraignment and Robert Crane for arraignment this morning. Have you had a chance to go over the indictment with either of them? If not, I'll go ahead and pull it up on the screen and we can do it here.
Judge, I have not had the chance with Mr. Jones and Mr. Crane. I don't know if he's still in, I think he's still in Wood County on the,
That's true. He is verified in custody in Wood County.
yeah, I think he has 3 charges up there.
Okay, all right, then we'll call Mr. Jones and then we'll reset Mr. Crane for a status. I'll call that in just a second. Let me pull this indictment up. Mr. Jason Jamal Jones, you'll come forward, please, sir.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Jones, can you see here on the TV screen? Can you see that document? Can you read that? And it should also be there on your screen in front of you. Can you see that? Okay. All right. This is cause number CR 21297, State versus Jason Jamal Jones. We're set for arraignment today. The Honorable Kurt Knoll has been appointed to represent Mr. Jones, and Mr. Knoll is appearing via Zoom today with the court's permission. Mr. Jones, the court is having displayed for you the indictment in this cause number. I'm going to ask that you just take a moment to read that document and let me know when you've had enough time to do so. All right, and Mr. You received the document in the mail? Okay. All right, so let me ask you a couple of questions, Mr. Jones. Is your name spelled correctly in that indictment in both in the top and in the body of the indictment? Yes. All right. And do you understand that you're being charged with a health and safety code violation of possession of controlled substance in penalty group 2 less than 1 gram? You understand that's what you're being charged with? And the range of punishment for that state jail felony is confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice for not less than 6 months or more than 2 years. That would be the range of punishment if you were convicted and then sentenced by a jury or by a court. Do you understand that? Okay. Mr. Knoll, at this time, would you like to enter a plea on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, at this time, we would enter a plea of not guilty as charged. I do have a DVD of the body cam in this instance, so I'll try to get with Mr. Jones. You should have my phone number. If you give me a call, then we can set up some time to review the discovery in the case.
All right, Mr. Knoll, are you available on November 30th? I can't remember what I set you for on Tuesday.
I'm sorry, Judge, what was the date it cut out on me?
November 30th.
That'll work, Judge.
All right, so Mr. Jones, the court's going to set you for a pretrial hearing on November 30th. You do have Mr. Knoll's phone number, correct? Yes, we'll get it. We'll get it for you again. If you'll, after you sign this notice with the bailiff and get the yellow copy, I'll have my coordinator come and bring you Mr. Knoll's phone number.
And Judge, if you would just have her give him my cell number. I believe she has that also.
So office and cell.
That's correct. Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you have your yellow copy? All right, just go ahead, have a seat in the hallway, and my coordinator, Ms. Patty Caperham, will bring you contact information for Mr. Knoll, and then stay in contact with him, okay? Oh, and so, I'm sorry, Mr. Jones, I need you to report over here to the probation department. There's nothing on here. We'll have that number brought to you. Okay. All right, court calls CR 2156, State versus Robert Cecil Crane Jr. Court does have a notice that Mr. Crane is still verified in custody in Wood County. Is that correct, Mr. Knoll, to your knowledge?
It is, Judge. He has a similar charge there as to the charge in Van Zandt County, and I think he also has two, if my memory serves me correctly, there assault on public servants, two of those charges.
Do you have any information for the court with regards to when he may go to trial over there, any status of this case?
Judge, I don't. I'll try to check with Brandon Body. I imagine he will be handling those cases over there and see if he can give me an update.
All right, if you'll do that, and we'll just reset this for a status on November 30th.
Thank you, Judge.
Any information you can give me, I would appreciate it.
All right, will do. Thank you.
All right, and I believe that concludes you for the morning. I think you have one this afternoon, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
Okay, all right. Thank you, sir. Will you be zooming in or will you be appearing?
I think I'll have to Zoom till I can get a new rim and a new tire.
Okay, all right. Well, be careful. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. White, are you ready?
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
Who are you ready on? Reeves? Jeremy Alexander Reeves, CR 21-154-187.
For those calls up again.
CR 21-154 and 187. Both cases set for pretrial today.
Your Honor, I would ask the court for another pre-trial. I think the state would be okay with that.
Is there a discovery issue or anything?
No, sir, I think we're talking about, I don't want to tell the court that we're not gonna have any pre-trial.
All right, court will reset. Mr. Reeves, are you available on November 30th? All right, court sets Mr. Reeves for pretrial in each case on November 30th. Once you sign your notice and get the yellow copy, you're free to go. Do you have any notes on that? Is Landon J. Watson here? Oh, he's not yours?
He was not.
Oh, I got your name on him still. All right.
Same exact possible. But
Okay. Yeah, it's got your name on it. Okay. What about Roy Hamilton? You ready on that? Huh? That one is yours. Roy Hamilton, CR 2171. All right, Mr. Hamilton is set for a docket call today.
Your Honor, I talked to Ms. Ivy on this. We're trying to come to a resolution. There's co-defendant cases in Ms. High's hopefully completed. She was going to check on some things for that end up. It's not a question. She wanted to figure out what occurred on that. Possible resolution. And I don't know how long.
Ms. Heisel, I know you're speaking with Mr. Ashmore. Do you have any time requests? Mr. White is requesting another docket call on Roy Hamilton, indicated that you're working on getting some information from Louisiana.
Yes, Your Honor, I believe matter of fact, by the November 9th date, before the likely to see them,
I can do November 30th to give you more time.
if that's-
Okay. Court will reset Mr. Hamilton then for docket call on November 30th at 9 a.m. Once you get your yellow copy, you're free to go. Well, no, he's got the yellow copy. Mr. White has the yellow.
Or she which is good.
That's good also. Not yet. What's your name, sir? What's your name though? Sir, what's your name?
Tim Jeff.
Tim Jeffrey.
On new lots.
Okay. Is that all you have, Mr. Wright? Okay, thank you. You have anything this afternoon? Okay, thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Jeffrey. And you said it's Hugh Law?
It's new law and on the indictment. for state spelling, correct?
New law CR 21-315. All right, we are set for arraignment today. Go ahead and make that announcement again, Mr. Jeffrey.
We will waive arraignment, Your Honor, and we are basically just doing that. So we get discoveries, which that's.
And tell me what you mentioned earlier about her name.
On the indictment, it's spelled and you, but it correctly should be spelled NH.
Your Honor, state the names in relation to their location in the indictment.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, court will grant the state's oral motion to amend the indictment to reflect the change of the spelling of the first name of the defendant, the correct spelling to be NHU, and her middle name and last name are spelled correctly. Is that correct? Okay. All right, then the court will find that Ms. Law has waived the formal requirements of arraignment. The court will enter a plea of not guilty into the record, and the court will set Ms. Law for a pretrial hearing. Are you available on November 30th?
Yes, Your Honor.
And that'll be at 9 a.m. And Ms. Law will have conditions of pretrial release that she'll have to abide by while she's on bond and pending trial. And so after she signs that notice of setting, gets the yellow copy, white one stays here, she gets the yellow one. They'll need her report to the officers over here, and they will go through that paperwork, and you're welcome to join them back there in case she has any questions.
Very good. Thank you.
Is Ryan Augustine here? Augustine? All right, for the record, cause number CR 21-279, State versus Grayson, Tyler Berry, set for arraignment. Mr. Berry has been verified in custody in Dallas County. Court's going to reset arraignment and for status of custody. We'll set that November 9th. Giovanni Chavez Rosales. All right, Mr. Chavez, you have been charged by indictment with a third-degree felony offense of evading arrest or detention with a vehicle that carries a range of punishment of not less than 2 years or more than 10 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. Mr. Chavez, are you going to hire an attorney to represent you? Are you going to go to trial without a lawyer? You think? I just told you that you're looking at a possible 2 years to 10 years in prison. If you're convicted of this charge, which today is the first setting, and our end goal is either the case is gonna get dismissed, or you're gonna plead guilty, or there's gonna be a trial in the case. If there's a trial and you're convicted, you could be sentenced to prison for 2 years to 10 years. So do you have the financial ability to hire an attorney? Mr. Chavez, what did you think was gonna happen when you showed up here today? Mr. Chavez, are you employed? Do you have a job? How much money do you make a week or a month? Do you have money saved up in the bank? Do you have a car? Do you own the car? Do you owe money on the car? Okay. Do you have bills? Do you have a cell phone? Do you have rent? Do you pay for groceries? Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna reset you to come back on November 9th, and I want you to bring an attorney with you. So you need to go out and hire an attorney. And bailiff, can I see? I'm just gonna write on here, so if they go see it. All right, Mr. Chavez, the deputy here is going to bring you a notice of setting. I need you to sign that. We're going to give you a yellow copy, and you need to be back here. You're ordered to be back here on November 9th at 9 a.m. with your attorney. All right, you're free to go. Actually, Mr. Chavez, I need you to come over here and meet with my pretrial release department. After you meet with them, they're gonna have some paperwork for you, then you'll be free to go after that, okay? Yeah, right. You missed some people. Who's still on? That's the sense of that for me. There's no financial. Did you just give? I thought you were playing attorneys all over. Southwood. All right, so that was no. Chester. Did Eric Platten represent, there was one that we had no one white on, his motion to revoke, is that Raymond Watson, is that Eric Platten? The system said no one white, is Raymond Watson, Eric Platten's. That's what no one says, and I don't see Eric on the docket otherwise. So that must be, so we need to change the system. and change his name to this. How would we know, right? Give me their names. Not here. I sent him back, yeah, he says he makes $400 to $500 a week, so he's probably got enough to make. He seemed to be kind of hard of hearing though. He kept trying. Not here. Is David Lee Phillips here? Nope. What page? Schmucker? Not here. A waiver ring. Nolan White. Not here. And then is Brittany Boyd here? That's okay. That's okay. I just want to see if you were here. Spanish right at 10. Thanks for reminding me. Mr. Platten, are you ready?
We're close, Your Honor.
Okay,
We did get to this interface, this related to this transfer.
okay,
So we can take care of it.
good. Mr. Ashmore, you need time?
I need.
Okay,
I'm also ready.
okay. Let's do that one. Ms. Boyd, if you'll come forward, please. This is CR 21-280, State versus Brittany Liddell Boyd.
Here, Judge.
All right, Mr. Crawford, I'll call you in just a moment. Go ahead, Mr. Ashmore.
Okay, Judge, I just confirmed with my client that she's here on her first appearance as an arraignment on a state jail felony possession of controlled substance penalty group 1, less than 1 gram. Her name is spelled correctly at the top. I do want to point out to the court that her middle name, Liddell, is a capital D. So it's not spelled correctly in the body of the indictment. She does understand that the allegation is that on March 4th, 2021, she possessed that controlled substance, that amphetamine in an amount of less than 1 gram. She's authorized me to enter a plea of not guilty. We formally waive the reading of the indictment last court for our next pre-trial.
All right, court will enter Ms. Boyd's plea of not guilty into the record. We'll set pre-trial on November 30th, unless you have a scheduling conflict, Mr. Ashmore.
So, Judge, we got to check. Have a TBC in Collin County. I don't think that's gonna go.
Well, if it,
Go ahead and set it.
well, if it does, and you have a chance to, on a break or whatever, we could do a Zoom for just pretrial.
Right.
Just announce whether you have contested or not, and then we can schedule it. So,
Thank you. Yeah, it's not special set. It's been moved several times by that court. I don't think it's,
okay, all right.
thanks, Joe.
So Miss Boyd, then you're ordered back on November 30th. Once you get your yellow copy, you'll be free to go. All right, Miss Newton, if you'll come forward. All right, this is cause numbers CR 21, 134, 135, 333, 334, and 335. State versus Shelby Diane Newton. And the court does have for arraignment today, cause numbers 333, 334, and 335. Let's take those up first, Mr. Crawford.
Okay, Judge.
Have you gone over the indictment with your client?
I haven't had a chance. I think I just found out about it this morning or yesterday evening, I believe. So I haven't seen them.
Okay, give me a second. I'll pull them up. All right, Ms. Newton, can you see that document there? CR 20, I'm gonna try to, is that better? Okay, this is the indictment and cause number CR 21, 335. I'm gonna take just a moment, let you read that.
Okay, Judge.
All right, and Ms. Newton, is your name spelled correctly here in the body of the indictment? And up there at the top also? Okay. I'm gonna close this one. Share. All right, this is the indictment in .334. All right, have you had a chance to read that? Is your name spelled correctly in cause number CR 21, 334? Okay.
Yes, Judge.
And I've got one more. All right, Ms. Newton, is your name spelled correctly in cause number CR 21333 in the indictment? Okay, all right, go ahead, Mr. Crawford. Do you want to ask your client any questions or conduct the arraignment on our behalf?
Judge, we're gonna waive, we'll waive a further reading of the indictment, enter pleas of not guilty. On all three.
All right, court will find that Ms. Newton has waived the formal requirements of arraignment. Court will enter her plea of not guilty into the record. Court will admonish her as her other two charges are of the same degree. All three of these charges are aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, second degree felony, which carries a range of punishment of not less than 2 years or more than 10 years confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, and a fine not to exceed $10,000. Court will set cause number CR 21, 134 and 135 for additional docket calls to run concurrent with the pretrial settings and the three new charges. Mr. Crawford, are you available? I've been setting on November 30th. If I need to, I can set out a little bit further for you so that you can get these three up to speed.
Judge, we're ready to announce for a jury trial in all 5 cases.
Okay, so you want to waive any contested pretrial motions and move directly to jury trial?
Well, I'm not sure about pretrial motions. If I have a date to file those, if you want that done, we might need that, but I'm ready to go to jury trial, yeah.
Well, so typically what I do is after arraignment, I set it for pretrial to allow any contested pretrial motions to be filed. And then if there are issues, then we'll then set another date for contested evidentiary docket to resolve those issues. And then we set it for trial. If you want to waive the pretrial and not request any type of pretrial motions, then we can go right to jury selection if that's what you and your client want to do.
November 30th.
What I would do is I would set the three new cases for pretrial on November 30th, and then the other two, I would set it to run concurrent with docket calls.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so Ms. Newton will appear back on November 30th. Once you sign that notice and get the yellow copy, you'll be free to go.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Crawford. Kimberly Fowler. This is cause number CR 19-214. Ms. Fowler, your attorney, Ms. Beasley, was unable to be here today, and she's asked for your case to be reset until October 26th. So that would be about a week and a half. So I'm just going to reset your case today. Okay. Have you been in contact with Ms. Beasley? Okay, if you'll just keep on trying to reach her. I knew you had other things you had to do. All right, Miss Fowler, if you'll just sign this, once you get the yellow copy, you'll be free to go. Is Mr. Puente here? Has anybody seen Mr. Puente? Tizel, Mr. Woodrock, have either one of you seen Mr. Puente for the plea with our interpreter for Carlos Cabrera Alonso? Is Mr. Cabrera here? Okay. Just want to let my interpreter know. Good morning, Mr. Morales.
Morning, Judge. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. My attorney is MIA at the moment, so I believe the defendant's here and has stepped out to call his attorney, but so I'm just gonna put you in a hold for just a second if you can.
Sure.
You say how long? When's your next hearing, Mr. Prowse?
10:30.
10:30? Okay, all right. If you'll just hold for me, we're told it's just a few minutes, but we'll find out shortly.
Okay.
Thanks. I'm gonna go ahead and set up the interpretation while I got you here, so I don't forget that later. And Ms. Taberham set up the. All right, Ms. Esquivel, if you'll come forward. Noemi Esquivel. Did I say it right? Okay. All right, this is cause number CR 21286, state vote versus, is it Noemi? Is it Noemi? Do you speak English?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I couldn't hear you. You gotta say yes or no so I can understand you. No, that's for our Spanish speaker who'll be coming in a moment for my interpreter. Ma'am, you've been charged with a third-degree felony offense of assault of a public servant. If convicted and sentenced, you could be sentenced anywhere from 2 years to 10 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. Do you intend to hire an attorney to represent you?
I do have an attorney. I'm homeless, so
Is he supposed to be on his way?
I don't know.
Did you tell him about today's hearing?
He knew about it.
Okay.
But
What's your attorney's name?
my umbrella,
Spell that last name for me.
RU,
I'm sorry, the door open. Say it again.
RUE.
All right, do you want to step outside and give his office a call and see if you can get a estimated time of arrival for him? And if he wants to appear via Zoom, then he can call my coordinator and get that information and he can appear remotely. You understand? Any questions? Okay, go give him a call and then report back in here and let us know. James Johnson. Mr. Johnson, this is CR 21294. You're set for arraignment today on a third-degree felony offense of tampering or fabricating with physical evidence. Third-degree felony carries a range of punishment of not less than 2 years or more than 10 years confinement in TDC and a $10,000 fine. Is it your intention to hire an attorney to represent you?
I have one that I was gonna hire, so you want to travel out there, so I'm kind of looking for another.
Do you believe if I give you more time, you'll be able to hire an attorney in this area that will come?
Yes.
How much time do you need?
Maybe a few calls, not really from this area.
I know I'm saying, do you need a couple weeks or a month?
One married, a month would be good.
All right, so if I reset you to November 30th, you feel confident you can bring the attorney of your choice in here to represent you?
Yes, sir.
All right, my bailiff here is going to hand you this form. I want you to sign it. It's a notice of setting. Once you get the yellow copy, then I want you to report over here to pretrial release for more paperwork. CR 21296, Johnson, is it Tayumika? Okay. All right, Ms. Johnson, how do you say your first name? Tayumika. Okay, I was pretty close then. All right, Ms. Johnson, you're set for arraignment today. Can you hear me? Okay, you're set for arraignment today on a charge of second-degree felony possession of marijuana, 50 pounds to 2,000 pounds. If convicted and sentenced, you could be sentenced between 2 years and 20 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. The court has reviewed your application for court-appointed attorney, and then based on the information you provided, you do not qualify for a court-appointed attorney under the law. So what I can do today is I can give you more time to go out and hire an attorney to represent you. If I give you till November 30th, you believe that you have enough time to go out and hire an attorney? Okay. All right, court's going to set you for arraignment and status on your attorney on November 30th. And that'll be at 9 a.m. Ms. Johnson, also need you to report to pretrial release over here. They have some additional paperwork for you. Take just a moment. Is Julie Ann Mullins here? David Lee Phillips? Talia Powell? Ms. Powell? Yes, if you'll step up. How do you say your first name? Talia, okay. All right, the court has reviewed your application for court-appointed attorney. The court finds that you do qualify under the law. The court has appointed the Honorable Casey Chester to represent you. Ms. Chester has received that appointment today. She's not here. So I believe that that information has been provided to you in regards to her contact information, address, and phone number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset you for arraignment on November 9th at 9 a.m. And what I want you to do is you're going to sign this notice of setting with that new date. And then I want you to report to pretrial release over here for paperwork. And after that, make sure that you call Ms. Chester, give her a day or so. When she gets information about your case, then she'll be able to discuss it with you. All right, so you can come on over here and meet with pretrial release. James Rife. Mr. Platt, let me know when you're ready. That's fine. Okay, good morning, Mr. Rife. This is CR 21-307 and 308. Mr. Rife, you've been charged with two criminal offenses. One is a state jail felony offense of theft of property between $2,500 and $30,000. It carries a range of punishment if convicted and sentenced between 6 months and 2 years in prison. You've also been charged with a third-degree felony offense of possession of a controlled substance in penalty group 1 gram to 4 grams. If convicted and sentenced, you could be sentenced anywhere between 2 years and 10 years and a fine up to $10,000. Is it your intention to hire an attorney to represent you on these charges?
Yes, Your Honor, I have already talked with her, and she represented me in another case over in Kaufman, but I have been unable to make contact with her in person, but I have contacted her through Facebook and email, and I sent her my paperwork through her email, and I have not been able to talk to her there. Paper.
And who is that?
Amanda Payne.
Amanda Payne?
Yes.
I have reason to believe that Ms. Payne may not be available to be in court for the rest of this year.
Really?
Yes, and that may be part of your problem in reaching her. So you can continue to try to hire Ms. Payne if that's what you want to do, but I believe that she may not be available until January. At least that's what she's given this court the understanding of. So what I'll do for you, Mr. Rife, is since you are trying to hire an attorney, I'll reset you until November 30th. That'll give you some more time. And I would encourage you to call other attorneys as well. And because on November 30th, I want you to be here with an attorney.
Okay, well, I have talked with her through, like I said, email. She was supposed to get in contact with me a couple weeks ago. I don't know like what that was. I had it on email. We were going to talk, but we didn't get a chance to talk.
I understand. Just so that you and I are on the same page. If you're going to hire an attorney, then I want you to hire an attorney that's going to be here, be present, show up on your case. And if she's not going to be able to be here on November 30th, then I would suggest that's not the right attorney for you. You understand? All right, you're free to go. Oh, actually, I want you to come up here and meet with my pretrial release officers, get their paperwork, and then you'll be free to go, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome, sir. Stephanie Rios. All right, Miss Rios, you are set for arraignment today on unlawful possession of firearm by a felon, third-degree felony. If sentenced, that's between 2 years and 10 years in prison, and a fine not to exceed $10,000. Miss Rios, the court has reviewed your request for a court-appointed attorney, finds that you are eligible under the law. All right. Hang on just 1 second, because this is conflicting. One says appointment, and one says none. All right, so on my docket, you wrote that Ms. Beasley was going to represent Stephanie Rios, but on the form, it says no financial. Okay. All right, so I'll need one that says David Beasley's information. Because this one says, the one I have says a Stephanie Rios, no financial. There's no term. No, I don't. Okay, all right, so she knows. All right, thanks. All right, Miss Rios, do you have a copy that my coordinator gave to you? Do you have a copy of paperwork? Yes, for the court-appointed attorney. So you have the attorney's name, Miss Debbie Beasley, on your paperwork. Go ahead and get your paperwork and bring it up with you. Okay, all right. So Miss Rios, the court has appointed Honorable Deborah Beasley to represent you. I'm going to reset you for arraignment on 10/26. That's in about 2 weeks. But I want you to stay in contact with Miss Beasley because she could file a waiver and prevent you from having to come today, but you need to call her at that number. And we've appointed her today, so she's not going to have any information on your case. But if you call her, leave a message, stay in contact with her. And then if she doesn't file a waiver, then you'll be back here on 10/26 at 9 a.m. Okay? All right. After that, I need you to come back here and report to pretrial release. They have some paperwork for you. You don't want a copy of this because it's not right. Yeah, this says no. This is no copy. Now she has a copy. She has a correct copy. Is Courtney Ray Schmucker here? Robert Schultz? All right, this is cause number CR 21-310, State versus Robert Michael Schultz. Mr. Schultz, you've been charged by indictment with a third-degree felony offense of obstruction or retaliation that carries a range of punishment of 2 years to 10 years if convicted and sentenced. Do you intend to hire an attorney to represent you? Did you go to my coordinator and fill out the paper? Why not? You want what? You wasn't told. What time did you get here? 10 after 9. Guess what time court starts? Guess what time my coordinator comes in here and says, if you want a court-appointed attorney, come see me. Guess what time that happens? 9 o'clock. Not 9 o'clock. So you need to go have a seat in the hallway and my coordinator will come out and bring some information to you and you got to fill it out. All right, go have a seat in the hallway. Robert Schultz is sitting in the hallway, white shirt. So he wasn't told. All right. Is Andrea Pullings here? CR 21-140, Ms. Pullings, we were set for plea at 9 o'clock and Mr. Adams was here ready to do your paperwork. Where were you at? Mr. Adams will be back at 1:30. He had to go back to another court in another county. So I'm going to order you to report over to the jail at 1:30 and sit in the lobby and Mr. Adams will be over there and he'll have some paperwork for you. Actually, you know what? Just don't go to the jail. Come here and sit out here in the hallway. And it's going to be a little bit because we have a jail docket at 1:30. As soon as Mr. Adams gets through with that, he can come back over here and do your plea. Okay. So be out here at the hallway at 1:30. Here, let me, I'm not going to give you a notice of setting. So just make sure I'm ordering you back at 1:30. You don't show back up, I'm going to issue a warrant. Okay. All right. Yanez Perez. Mr. Perez, is your attorney here? Is your attorney Ray Hindy? Ms. Esquivel, any update on your attorney?
Yes, I believe.
Okay. Okay, I'll log him in just a minute.
He does not know is evidently with Mr. Puentes, according to the lady at the end. So. Two attorneys.
Oh.
But we don't know what Mr. Puentes is. I guess he's lady at the end.
Mr. Prowlis, are you available? We still have no ETA on the attorney, Mr. Puente, for this plea at 10. I apologize, I don't know where he is at. So you just leave. Ms. Tabraham just walked in here and told me to be quiet for a second. Let's see what she says.
He is getting.
He's the attorney for the plea. Well, Leonard has a. Oh, is it a? Leonard has a 10:30, so, oh, it's pretrial. Yeah, you're right, it is pretrial. So, you said 11:30? Where'd Aaron go? I think he's a Spanish speaker also. I was announcing the case and he didn't understand what I was saying. So, okay, so it's not Eric Puente anymore.
Yeah, he's.
We good. So Cabrera's not here? Are they together? Okay. All right. So yes, Leonard, if you will do 11:30 for us, I'd appreciate it. And I'll get to the bottom of what's going on. Or if it inconvenience, sir.
A few weeks ago, Mr. Woodwhite and I have exchanged emails, but we haven't really had a chance to confer about any offer from the state. We're gonna ask the court, if I understand, Mr. Woodwhite correctly, the state is not opposed to another pretrial to allow us to work forward to resolve this matter.
Is the pretrial because of discovery issues and filing motions, or is it just about negotiating the case?
Don't have all the discovery yet, and we actually think we're gonna have some affirmative things to turn over that will be impactful. And I don't know if that's gonna materialize into a contested pretrial motion. I doubt it, but it's for that reason.
All right, if you don't have all the discovery, then court will set this for pretrial on November 30th. Is the discovery that you're missing, is it online portal stuff? Is it digital evidence or?
I think it's the disc stuff, and I picked up a stack of discs on Tuesday, so I actually may have it yet, but I haven't had a chance to digest it.
Okay. Any objection from the state?
No.
All right, court sets Mr. White then for pretrial on November 30th. Once you get the yellow copy, Mr. White, you're free to go. Mr. White, are you ready? Is Mr. Bundrick here yet? Okay.
Good morning, Judge. May apologize, first of all, for being tardy.
No, I appreciate it. Do you have a jacket that you can put on real quick?
Yes, Judge, give me 1 second.
Please do. Ms. Esquivel, you'll come back to the podium. All right. Have you had a chance, Mr. Rueda, to go over the indictment with your client for the assault public servant charge?
No, Judge, not at the moment. I have not.
All right, well, let's do this then.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Esquivel, can you see that? Okay, I'm gonna give you a moment just to read through that, okay?
Thank you, Judge.
All right, ma'am, have you read the document? Is your name spelled correctly in that document? All right, and you are charged with a third-degree felony offense of assault of a public servant. If convicted and sentenced, you could be sentenced between 2 years, a minimum of 2 years, up to a maximum of 10 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. Do you understand that range of punishment? Do you understand what you're being charged with based on what you've read here today? And Mr. Rueda, would you like to enter a plea on behalf of your client?
At the moment, Judge, we enter a plea of not guilty and request reset the settings so that we may request discovery.
Okay. And Mr. Rueda, have you sent in a letter of representation?
It's being e-filed as we speak, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. Then the court will find that Ms. Esquivel has waived the formal requirements of arraignment. Her name is spelled correctly in the indictment, and the court will enter her plea of not guilty into the record. Mr. Rueda, are you available on November 30th for pretrial?
I am not, Judge. Actually, I will be out of town until I believe the 2nd or 3rd of December, whatever date that may be. So I should be back give you the exact date that I'll be back. I'm back the 2nd of December. I am out the 27th through the 2nd of December.
All right, what about, how about setting it December 14th?
That's fine, Judge.
All right, Ms. Esquivel, the court's going to set you for pretrial on December 14th at 9 a.m. Stay in contact with Mr. Rueda and your pretrial release officer. Do you have your conditions of pretrial release? Have you received conditions of pretrial release telling you to report, commit new offenses while you're on bail? Have you received that? Okay.
She has.
So, Mr. Rueda, pursuant to the code, make sure that any contested pretrial motions that you want heard are filed at least 7 days prior to that date so that we can set it for a contested hearing. If there are issues of motions to quash, motions to suppress, they won't be heard on the 14th. We would schedule them for hearing on the 14th.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. All right, Ms. Esquivel, you're free to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Rueda.
Says we have been protected.
This is both of them. Okay. This is his signature here. Which we wouldn't know that. It's not. But there's no letter of rep and. All right, they're both Spanish speakers. Good morning. Is it Mr. Hindi? You're on mute there. You'll need to unmute your device.
Sorry about that, Your Honor. Yes, it's Ray Hindier here. I apologize. I was in Hill
Hindier?
County. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right, so Mr. Hindier, we had a interpreter set up for, and so he sat here and I had to let him go. We were expecting Mr. Puente to be here. Is Mr. Puente no longer counsel or with your firm anymore?
That's correct, Your Honor. He's no longer with my firm. I'm the attorney of record now on the case.
All right, so my interpreter will be back at 11:30 online. So what I would ask you to do is be available at 11:30, and then I will call both your clients. And do both of your clients need the assistance of an interpreter?
As far as I can tell, Your Honor, I only have one client on the docket. I apologize. I do have both, and they don't both require interpreters. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, yes, I have Carlos Cabrera Alonso, and they're both here, and Yandes Perez Hidalgo.
Yes, Your Honor. They both require interpreters.
Okay, all right. So, Mr. Hindier, if you can log back in to Zoom at 11:30, then my interpreter will be available, and we'll conduct we're set for an arraignment for Mr. I'm sorry, I'm not for arraignment on that one. We're set for a pretrial on Mr. Perez. And let's see here. Yeah, Hidalgo is set for pretrial. And Mr. Cabrera is set also for pretrial. So what I'll do is I'll just take your announcements on any contested pretrial motions and we'll schedule it for the next setting if you don't have any.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, All right, and then next time you zoom back in, I'll need you to wear, if you're gonna appear in court, I'll need you to wear a jacket, okay?
Yes, Your Honor. Sorry, I'm in the car here. It's on my, yeah,
Understand.
I will then.
Okay, all right, we'll see you 11:30.
Thank you.